That Don't Sound Right is a podcast about talking the way we did before the internet, when you could not prove anyone right or wrong.
All the expertise was contained in the people involved with the conversation. I'm Peter.
I'm Cecil, and I hope you enjoy our conversations. And as you listen, if you find yourself silently saying, that don't sound right, send us a comment. You're one of us.
Really? Like when we're in here getting ready and you're setting up, like I can't have a conversation with you. I mean, welcome back to another episode of That Don't Sound Right, podcast about talking. We're your co-hosts. I'm Peter Billman.
I'm Cecil Davis.
And we are just trying to have a conversation without using Google or fact-checking each other online. Those things can so easily kill the conversation.
So I brought a little libation tonight of my own making.
Yes, it was very good.
Speaking of starting conversations.
I'm still sipping it slowly.
This was using the White Dog created by Buffalo Trace, which you can get, which is their standard recipe that they make all of their product from. Aged it myself for a couple months with an aging stick.
Right. And what is this aging stick?
It's just a piece of oak that's been charred.
Okay.
So it's like being in a barrel, but it's so much surface area you don't have to age it as long.
It's like putting the barrel in the
Put the barrel into liquid, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
That's good. Where'd you get the aging stick? Did you make it?
A guy I work with is opening a distillery.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and so he's been doing this for a while.
Yeah?
And so he experiments all the time with different staves and all that kind of stuff. So.
Ask him how you know if you get moonshine from somebody. Ask him how you know if it's safe to drink.
I'll do that. That's a whole episode just in there. I have some ideas of how it's safe to drink.
I've got it. I've got a bottle about the size of this bottle that you brought, full of moonshine.
But you're not ready to drink it yet?
I think it's going to be all right.
Well, if it's done poorly...
Yeah, it could really it could kill you.
And also it's the heads and the tails. So
that's what kills you.
Yeah, that's the stuff that comes off first that's either poison or I don't know what it is. And the tails, which stuff comes off last, is also bad for you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we can do. I know just enough about that to have a whole podcast on it.
Well, let's do it next time.
But that's not what we're talking about today.
No. I wanted to talk about concentration.
About concentration?
Concentration.
I am completely the wrong person to talk to about concentration.
And things that evidently help you with concentration.
You should have Christy on for this episode.
Why is that?
She's reading a book by the guy who's the medical correspondent for one of the morning shows.
Yeah.
On how to...
Dr. Oz?
No.
Okay.
It's the guy who wrote a book about how to sharpen your mind.
All right.
Yeah. So she's been I've heard a lot about this.
Well...
Secondhand.
My daughter has played around with this kind of thing to help her with concentration. She's a junior in high school, and she's in the midst of a bunch of AP classes, some tough classes, heavy workload. She plays sports, so she gets home late at night, not a whole lot of time, and sometimes she has to crank down. And you've probably seen this also on TV, some commercials, but it's this background noise.
I've just realized that you've got background noise playing.
Can you hear it?
You're manipulating my concentration.
Is it working?
I don't know.
Well, I'm going to leave it going.
To see if I concentrate.
It's actually for the listeners to see if they're really get more engagement on this one.
Yeah.
But basically, there's this idea that they call them 40 hertz gamma waves. And it's evidently some kind of noise that stimulates a part of your brain and calms other parts of your brain, so you can actually concentrate.
Huh. People say that I am not very focused.
Yeah?
Yeah, that I jump from thing to thing.
I don't find that true about you at all. In fact, you seem pretty one-track mind.
Really?
Like when we're in here getting ready and you're setting up, like I can't have a conversation with you. I mean, you're zooming in. You're getting the equipment ready to go.
Yep.
I just got to let you do your thing, and which is fine. But right. It's interesting that someone says that about you.
Yeah.
I find you pretty one track. Like when we were working on your car.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Right. What did we do? we got your car done. We weren't flitting here and there. We were working on the car. We got it done.
Yep. Yeah.
So it's interesting.
I think I can focus, but I get accused of having ADD.
Like squirrel kind of thing?
Like at work, yeah.
Really?
That I jump around. But I think the reason that appears to be that way at work is because I have a lot of different things pulling at me. Like just different, because I'm responding to things typically at work. And so I think that's why that appears that way.
Well, also, you might be very efficient. You get things done quick and you move on to the next thing.
That's what it is. I am very efficient.
I'm a fan of Cecil.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
I'll give you that.
I think I can be focused. So does this help Emily?
Charlotte. It's Charlotte. Yeah, there's several noises that she plays that helps her. This is an example of one of them.
What megahertz is that?
I have no idea. Right. I'm assuming it's 40 hertz.
Well, I'm very into this episode, so it must be working.
I'm assuming it says it's 40 hertz.
Okay.
But there's another one that seems to change the frequency just a little. It still hovers around 40 hertz. But when you stop and really listen to it, it actually will sound like classical music.
Really?
You'll start hearing the kind of chords and tones you would hear in classical music.
So does this one change? Or
this one's constant.
This one's constant.
This one's constant.
I know. We'll get an email this week that says, "What was that buzzing sound in the back of the?"
That's right. I was so distracted by it. I just turned it off.
I can't concentrate anymore.
So there's another that actually it was helping me. It was, I don't know, that noise was kind of helping me kind of.
Are you somebody that studies with music?
No, I don't think I can study. No, I cannot study with music.
I could never study with music.
No.
Now, I had friends that said they had to study with music, but I could not do it. I was always listening.
Emily studies with music. In fact,
popular music or classical?
No, all kinds of different music. But really? Her number one song in her. Do you ever do Spotify Wrapped?
Spotify what?
Wrapped.
Wrapped.
So what happens is at the end. Do you listen to Spotify?
I do.
So at the end of the year, you probably.
Oh yeah.
They give you your top 10.
Yeah.
So her most played song was the Rise of Skywalker trailer.
Huh.
She must have played it on repeat 10,000 times or something. I mean,
wow.
And she did that while studying. She had like 3 or 4 songs that she would play over and over again that would help her study. And this is not music that's playing on a speaker over to the left. She had earbuds on.
Yeah, I can't do that.
I mean, she had the music pumping right into her brain, and it helped her.
I can't do that. I have to be quiet when I study.
So anyway, I thought that, when I heard that, I said, that don't sound right, having a specific noise that works, but turn it back on.
Have you tried it at work?
I've not tried this at work. I've just tried it at home while reading.
Do you have to concentrate in your work?
I do at times. Most of the time, I'm just available for people to ask me questions,
right.
Or I'm in meetings. But when there's times I need to stop and concentrate and work, I'll just go find a quiet room. I do need quiet. Yeah. I can't have a lot of change in pitch. I think this 40 hertz that's going on right now would be helpful.
You should try it. Yeah, if I'm doing something where I have to, if I'm reviewing pharmaceutical profiles for a resident, I have to it has to be quiet. I can't have distractions. I have to be able to focus, and I can't have music playing because then I'll just be thinking about the music.
That's right.
Yeah. No, in the same way I was in school. But now, if I'm doing it a rote, I have noticed if I'm doing something very rote, I can't think of an example right now that we're on there. I can have music doing that. Like if I'm working on a car, I can have music.
Yeah, exactly. Now I can do that if I'm in my garage.
But as soon as it starts going off the rails, I have to cut the music off and really kind of concentrate on whatever the problem is. Yeah, like you start out and it's a 15-minute job on the car, and you listen to music, and then the bolt rings off, and you're like, okay, we got to really think about what we're doing. Yeah.
So here's another noise that actually helps her.
That's white noise?
This is called, the name of this song, it's on Spotify, and it was on her Wrapped. It's called 10-Hour Box Fan. It's basically a 10-hour recording of a box fan.
Nice.
And she'll ask Alexa to play this for her at night.
Well, there was a fan that was in my grandparents' upstairs because they didn't have air conditioning upstairs, and it was it was in one window on one side of the house, and you would open the windows on the other side of the house, and it would blow the air out. And it had a very specific sound. So basically what it was doing is it was creating airflow through the house. Okay. Pulling air in from one side and then out the other. So it created a breeze. Right. But that fan had a very specific sound that I wish I had a tape of. I wish I had a recording of.
Well, did you ever have a noise machine for your kids when they were babies to kind of make?
Oh, yeah.
Can you sleep with that on?
No, Christy wants to sleep with those things on. I cannot do that.
Right, because I can't because it's imperfect. Because I can hear when it changes. I can hear when it's on repeat. Yep. I can hear when it repeats. Yep. And that little change is completely jarring to me.
Or it'll stop for a minute, just like
that would be dead. But then also I can also hear other noise going on in the background, like maybe a tick sound. Mm-hmm. And you ask any of my kids driving in a car if there's a ticking, I'm gonna go out of my mind.
Oh yeah, I've got one in my car right now that I'm trying to check. Like if we're driving and something starts popping in the back, like a coat hanger.
Yeah.
I've had to pull over and say, look, we got to figure this out.
Well, unfortunately, I've trained all of my kids to be the exact same way. They never used to bother. I'd be driving along and something would be like, what the worst? I think the worst is when you have fishing rods in the back.
Oh, where they just the eye just tick. Yeah. I don't know. Go ahead.
It used to bug me like crazy. And I always turn to the kids, make the rattling stop. Make the rattling stop. Or something would be rattling like, what is that rattling? Dad, I don't hear it. Yeah. Now they all hear it.
Yep. No, I can't. There can be no rattling in my car. And there's actually something rattling in the front of my car right now that I cannot quite put my finger on. I don't know if this is a true story, but they said, I read part of an article.
Was it because the firewall, the paywall?
That supposedly one of the cosmonauts on the Soviet space station, when that pieced together space station was still in the air, because they had cords and stuff drug through safety panels, and it was evidently a mess. That when one of the cosmonauts first got up there was a ticking sound that he could hear in the space station. He could not figure out what it was, and he didn't know how to stop it. And so he finally decided that he had to make that sound musical in his mind, or he was going to go insane.
That's interesting.
Can you imagine being caught in space and something ticking on the space station, and you can't figure out what it is?
Right, because in space, no one can hear you scream.
And you can't say, just come get me.
Well, the thing is, there's nothing on the outside causing it.
No. There's something inside.
Something inside.
Right.
Had to be in the ventilation system or something. But that was interesting. That's an interesting way to cope, is to turn it musical.
Right.
Wow.
It's just when they finally pick you up, even if you made it musical, there's some danger there of you just going crazy.
I wonder if they have that kind of problem on the space station or any other kind of spacecraft that you're spending time in. Do people have that issue? Because those things are rattle traps.
Yeah, I'm sure. Or there's something in there just like buzzing or ticking or.
I have all kinds of electromechanical machinery up there buzzing
and at any time, any of it could go wrong.
Right.
Yeah, and then you're just trapped. I mean, it's not like you're going to open the door and get out and figure out where it is.
They got Spotify up there.
Or pull over.
They can turn on 10-hour box phone.
I guess you have earplugs with you too.
Yeah, I would think. Well, I would.
So, what are you playing now? This is what?
This is called Study and Focus Frequency. What's this one called? Study and Focus Frequency 18.5 hertz.
I wonder if I need to start trying this stuff. Can you? But she just has it as she's doing other tasks.
Yeah.
She's not meditating to it or anything.
No.
Huh. It's very calming.
Isn't it?
I wonder if our podcast is better because of it.
That's why I'm playing it the whole time.
You're going to see if people are going like, you guys were focused like a laser.
Or people were focused on, it's like, I could not stop listening.
We will continue to play it if that occurs. So, does she have any other tricks?
Oh, between the 10-hour box fan and the 40 hertz gamma waves. She'll have a TV show playing in the background.
Oh, that I could never do that.
Yeah.
TV is very distracting.
Oh,
for me,
yeah.
even now. So I used to consult in nursing homes, and a lot of times they would stick me in the TV room, and the TV would be on.
Loud.
Very distracting.
Loud
I
TV.
was watching the TV. It was very hard for me not to watch TV. Very distracting for me. Even now, like if we were sitting here talking and you turned the TV on, I would be very distracted.
So when you go, you try not to go with restaurants with Christy that have TVs on the wall.
Because
That's a deal breaker.
Yeah.
That'll break the date.
That's very hard for me if I'm sitting. I was having lunch with somebody the other day and the TV was behind them and I caught myself.
Yeah,
and
right.
it wasn't even anything I was interested in.
No,
It was a sports show.
Right.
About a game that I had no interest in, and I kept finding myself like looking up at it.
Documentary on pickleball. You're watching
Oh my
it.
gosh, yeah, it's very distracting. We need to get Christy on because she has several ideas now about how to improve your mental agility and concentration. And
Maybe she'll send us an email. We can put it.
She sent us a voice to text the other day about the sock episode.
Okay, well maybe we can.
Did you listen to that?
No, I don't think I did.
Oh, really? I don't think either one of us listened to it.
Where did I get this? Oh, no. It was it was a voice to text. Yeah. No, I did listen to it.
Yeah.
I had trouble listening to it at first.
She's got.
I was technically challenged, but I got through it. I got through the user interface and was able to listen.
She's got some ideas about all this being able to concentrate.
So I think between socks and her able to concentrate,
yeah, she may have to need to be on for a
we
whole
might be
episode.
we might find ourselves sleeping much better.
That's right.
Or sweating to death and being annoyed because of a bunch of ticking sounds.
Right. Yeah, so she sleeps with socks on and would have white noise going.
Does she have noise going on right now? When y'all sleep, she puts noise on?
Sometimes, if I'm snoring.
Oh.
She'll do it.
You're not white noise.
No.
Well, you are white noise.
Yeah, so he's trying to block out my snore. But if I wake
Cecil's
up,
snoring is not on the Spotify playlist,
No.
but it is going to be on her most listened to track.
I can't. I have to cut it off. I can't listen to it.
Well, you're not alone. I'm also white noise.
Yeah. Now we have an aquarium that sometimes will get a little gurgly, and I can hear it down the hall, and that doesn't bother me too bad.
I'll tell you what bothers me. So sometimes in the wintertime, we'll put a humidifier in there.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the noise of the humidifier is relatively soothing and calm.
Right.
But what happens is the way the water has to recharge, it gives this big...
Yep.
It wakes me up every time.
I found that my concentration is beginning to dwindle anyway because I watch Instagram.
Oh, because you've trained your mind
to to experience life in 15 seconds.
Yeah.
So I need to start reading, like watching long form movies again, or reading books more than I did. I used to be an avid reader.
Really?
Yeah. But now, man, I can spend some time on Instagram.
Hey, maybe we'll venture into the realm of book reviews.
Why's that?
Well, for Christmas, Bunny got me a book. It's about storytelling on the radio.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's called Out on a Wire. But the book was written in the form of a graphic novel.
Really?
Yes.
Man, you've really studied for this podcasting.
Yeah, I'm trying to improve our craft, man.
Did you, Peter and I go to church together. So when you did prayers of the people on Sunday, do you ever incorporate anything that you've learned from the podcast into doing prayers of the people?
No, not really. Just the way I talk.
Yeah.
I try to talk a little with.
I think you had animation when you were talking.
Yeah, I try to talk with energy and expression.
I felt like your prayers with people were very good on Sunday.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yeah. Like you were very energetic with it.
That's what I try to do that now.
Peter,
and I try to do it on this microphone.
Peter, you're honing your craft for podcasting.
When we make it big.
I got asked the other day, would we consider selling, which we've discussed on the podcast before. And absolutely.
It basically has to, but it has to be enough to fund the Rancho and the Scout.
Right. It has to be for a significant amount.
When you think, no. When you think about it, that's actually not a whole lot.
That's
fine.
true. I mean,
Right.
it's not. We're not talking about millions.
No, we're not even talking about 100,000. I don't think.
Yeah, thousands. We're in the thousands.
I think we're dozens of thousands.
Yes. Yeah. So if each of our dozens of listeners would send $1,000 in, you could buy yourself a podcast.
Yes.
Speaking of podcast, if you've been concentrating to this whole episode, you now realize that we've probably exhausted.
Well, I turned off the music. Everyone's ready. I turned off the music.
Yeah.
Everyone's ready to go.
Right. We're all scattered.
So what does that mean?
It means we're at the end of the episode.
Well, before we close, we want to thank everyone for listening. If this is your first time and enjoyed the conversation, would you consider hitting the subscribe button on the platform you listen with? And actually, here's something to know.
What's that?
Apple Podcasts just did something.
Mm-hmm.
They went through and they scrubbed subscribers for how much they were subscribing to different podcasts.
Really?
So if someone was a subscriber but hadn't listened to the podcast in a certain amount of time, they turned off automatic downloads for that particular podcast and that subscriber. So what that meant is that it looks like that podcast listenership has tanked in the United States.
Really?
Because they turned it off.
Right.
What I'm asking you to do is go in there and turn it back on. And also, if you're a longtime listener, please give us a rating, leave us a review, or share us on social media so other folks can find us enjoying the conversation.
I really liked what you said during last week's episode about, if you would take a minute to share the episode on your social media platform.
Give it a
does
shot.
help. Yeah,
Give it a shot.
Before we do that, don't sound right. Let's say Wonderfully Made Designs is a small business specializing in custom made t-shirts and decals. Contact Casey on Facebook at Wonderfully Made Designs 139.14. Use TDSR10 for 10% off your first order.
I'll point out that we're when we drop this episode, you'll be listening on January 27th. That gives you a mere 2.5 weeks to order your Valentine's Day gift.
Yes. And nothing says I love you more than a that don't sound right.
Anything.
T-shirt. That Don't Sound Right is a production of TDSR Podcast in conjunction with Camel City Studios. I am your co-host and sound engineer, Cecil, and I know sound engineers out there across the world probably become enraged when they hear that I call myself that. Peter's your other host and web designer. Camille's your part-time barista. Emily does our graphic design. Ella does our Instagram. Giorgio tests our merchandise. Brent is our international brand ambassador. And as always, listener number one is Scott. So until next week, keep talking.
And stay curious.